Hello everyone, Mike Peden here at the Western Conference Finals with Rebecca Lobo of ESPN, and whether she played in the WNBA, appears as a broadcaster, or even appears on Jeopardy, she's always around on the TV. And so this is the 15th season. You were a part of the roundtable, or sort of that halftime segment for the Los Angeles-New York reunion game. So what would you say that you've seen in the 15 years of the league?
Oh, it's been a great 15 years. I mean, I was there from the very beginning when there was only two of us signed, when it was Cheryl Swoops and myself, to watching the game really grow, and you know, from 8 teams to now 12 teams, and at some point getting up to 16. But it's been fun watching the evolution of the players and the evolution of the game, and you know, it's just great fun to still be a part of it.
And you've had a direct role in seeing the evolution through your college basketball work and through your WNBA work, and so draft class was much hyped up this year, and how have they contributed to the overall talent?
Well, you've seen it here in Minnesota. You know, Maya has been such an integral part of what the Lynx have been doing, and Danielle Adams had a terrific year down in San Antonio. But there have been a lot of other rookies who have made impacts this year, and it's hard because the WNBA is so competitive now. There's not a lot of roster spots. There's only 12 teams, but it's you know, I think as the talent continues to get better, it's only going to help the league, and so that'll be the case this year's rookie class and rookie classes in the future.
Now, you mentioned 12 teams. They did have 16 at one point, back to 12, but new president this year said she was focused on getting the 12 teams established. What do you have to say about Laurel Richie in her first season?
You know, I haven't had a whole lot of dealings with her, but I think she seems to be doing a pretty good job. You know, you've got the most important thing, which is the sponsorships and fans who are having a great fan experience. That's number one. The sponsorships are number two, and you've seen an increase in sponsorships this year. So seems like so far in her season number one, she's doing pretty well.
Right. And speaking of season number one, what have you seen change? You mentioned the talent's growing in terms of the response, reaction to the WNBA from its inaugural game in 1997 up to now.
Well, I think it's gone from a fan just being curious about the game to fans being passionate and knowledgeable about the game. And we just came from doing the series out in Seattle, where they've had a consistently great fan base for a few years now. It's fun to come to Minnesota and see a fan base that is growing, and I think right now is at its best level. Not only numbers, but the passion and the awareness in the city. Everyone seems to be embracing their darlings with the Minnesota Lynx. So again, it's gone from sort of a curiosity to an established league that people are really passionate about.
And speaking of interest, a lot of stories about conversions from fans who at first rejected the league, thought it was inferior to supporters, and that includes your husband among them, if I recall correctly. And maybe if you can use him as an example, or just in general, what is it that turns these first-time critics into converters and believers?
Well, in his case, I think it was just a matter of indifference, and then to being somebody who appreciated what the women were doing out there on the floor, and so I think it's just people give it a chance. You just need to give it a chance once. You'll like what you see on the floor. You'll like the passion that these women play with. You'll like the quality of play, and you'll come back. And that's what's been exciting this year here in Minnesota, is that the fans are getting a taste of what it's like to cheer for a winning women's basketball team, which they haven't had since 2004, and they're seeing the level of talent being so high, and a hometown hero in Lindsay Whalen coming back home. So it's you know, a really nice, have the ingredients here, and I think you've seen that in different places around the league.
And one thing, a lot of folks don't think about this, but the NBA went through similar growing pains in its first 15 seasons. There was no shot clock for the first few years of the league.
Yeah, and if you remember, you know, you get fouled three for two. I was watching one of the old games on NBA TV, and the men were playing. I said, why did you get 3 foul shots? It's the old 3 for 2. I mean, the game is going to evolve, and it's going to change, and the steps that this league has made from year 1 to year 15 are drastic, and if it continues to evolve the way it has, I think it'll be in pretty good shape.
Now, in the broadcasting end, where do you see that growing? NBA TV is getting more involved. You see more live access streams, and ESPN's ratings are up this year. What's the next step to get more coverage for this league to continue promoting the product?
Well, I think it's really doing a lot better. I mean, ESPN this year, I think, is covering more playoff games than we ever have, and that's good. And we've had good games. The quality of play is good, so that's going to make people want to tune in more. And it's great for me, just doing homework, that I can go on WNBA.com and watch every single game that was played this year with their live access or live access app. So, you know, fans, if they want to watch women's basketball at the professional level, there's plenty of ways for them to do it.
Speaking of broadcasters, one of your partners tonight, your old collegiate coach, and I know you've had this relationship for a few years, but if you can you give us that first time when you approached Gino as a reporter after he saw you all those with UConn, winning the championship here in '95 and then seeing you in the WNBA?
I think I was tremendously nervous the first time I had to interview him because, it was just a weird dynamic because I'd spent so many years just saying yes, sir, and not really saying anything other than that to him. But he's great. I'm thrilled that he's joining the broadcast tonight because he is obviously ridiculously knowledgeable about the game, and he's very good at explaining things, and he's a lot of fun. So we're just going to enjoy the couple hours we have to watch this game.
And then with UConn's impact overall, without them, I don't think we see as many talented players as we do. What is it about his pedigree from the 90s that has carried over to 2011?
I think one thing that with him that has never changed is what he demands from his players. He holds them very accountable, and he doesn't accept anything than the best from each player that plays for him. And so whether it's a player he might have had in the 80s or one of the best athletes in the world that he's coaching on the Olympic team, he sets a standard, and he expects a lot from his players, and that's why he's had so much success.
Now, before you go, I do have one request of you. There's a fan who watches from the Twin Cities. She shares her birthday with you, and if she gets a little jealous of with this access, her name is Sharita, so if you don't mind, would you give her a welcome if she's watching this?
So welcome and happy birthday to Sharita, October 6th. I don't know the year, but happy birthday, Sharita.
Same birth year as mine, 87, so a few years younger.
Young guys, all right.
Yeah. Hey, the young breed, though, coming in to support the league and keep feeding it.
That's right.
Well, good luck, and we'll see you on ESPN the next few games, and who knows, we might see you back here in the finals if the Lynx qualify.
That would be great. Thank you.